Hello and welcome back to High Ridge Farm with me, the Walrus, as we now enter into Year 2, Week 1, Part 2. Might have had a total brain fart and forgot what part of the week I was even running on there. As you can tell, things are going, well, reasonably so far. I've managed to plant a bunch of new crops, as well as some old. I've realised that I'm an idiot after a large quantity of crop sowing, but that's not exactly new or fantastically interesting news, other than that I'm sure anyone who's watched any of my videos is already aware that I'm a bit of a moron. I'm also going to say, and it's wonderful to have a fantastic new year. I hope everyone did have a fantastic new year, to be fair. It is wonderful to have had a wonderful new year myself. Although I will freely admit I worked it, so I have a lot of sympathy for all of those glorious bar staff out there, like myself, where we were dealing with you lot getting drunk in front of us. And it did mean that we ended up having a late night lock-in, which was great fun. Now, of course, as well as that, we have a lot of extra stuff to do. Now, of course, me rambling about my personal life is probably not what many of you are here for. I'm sure you're all here just for the Stardew. One of the great plans I have at the moment is to get rid of all these rice shoots, because I have so many, it's actually quite annoying. I'm also going to plant down a couple more sprinkler systems here. Now, I am using the basic quality sprinkler as opposed, I say basic, the quality sprinkler as opposed to the iridium ones, partly because I don't have enough iridium. One of the main things that I really want to do is get more of that damn stuff so I can have better tools and, of course, better sprinkler systems, because the efficiency is really what I'm after here. Of course, having seen that a couple of comments that have come up on my last video, I will freely admit, I tend to record maybe a full week of videos and add edits to them as I go. So this week you probably won't see me giving oranges to Gus. However, next week I'm going to be throwing them at him repeatedly, because that's indeed what one does in Stardew Valley. You just wander around throwing bits of food at people until they love you, which is definitely a peculiar concept, I'll certainly say that much. Right, I'm going to just quickly deposit a couple of things in here that I don't need right now. Let's put that in there. Got some more cheese, got some more cloth. Thankfully, I built this sail bin shipping box outside, which makes my life super easy, because it does mean I can just dump stuff that I don't need or want into the or to be sold. Of course, there is the small one that you can get from Mayor Lewis after completing one of his more advanced tasks, which is one of the ones that I am doing at the moment, to ship out 100 of cauliflower by the end of the season, which isn't exactly going to be difficult. It's just going to be slightly time-consuming, because cauliflower does take 13 days to grow, if memory serves. I could also be very wrong on that, but it wouldn't be the first time that I've been wrong. As, of course, I've mentioned previously, I'm refusing to use the Wikipedia, so I'm very much stuck in, I'm going to blunder my way through Stardew Valley repeatedly until I get it right. So any little tips and tricks I will definitely read and pay attention to. One of the other sad little things I have done is I do have a little post-it note sat on my desktop screen, and on it I have a couple of easy access favourite goods of many of the villagers, because it means that I can just at a very quick glance see it. As I've previously mentioned, one of the things I really need is a whiteboard in here. Unfortunately, it's trying to find the right wall space, as my office is quite small. It's one of those little things that when I moved in, I did joke that this room was clearly the stepchild's room. I then later find out that the previous tenants, that was the case, and I actually felt bad. Ah, wonderful. Look, have some stuff. Right, okay, I want another animal. I want myself a bunny, because bunnies are cute. And also, it's more rabbit legs. and fluff, which we can turn into cloth. Now, I am going to call it Luna, which is actually the name of one of my good friend's actual bunnies. She's an adorable little monster, very noisy, enjoys chewing on the bars of her hutch because she wants all of the food right now. And why are you not giving me food? Also, where is the food? And have I mentioned food? She is adorable though, because she's a house bunny, so she zooms around like a mad bun. Okay, so you want to show us something, do you, Emily? It's your secret hobby. Is it voodoo? Are you actually indeed a shamanistic practitioner of voodoo? Do you do the voodoo? Well, she doesn't, but I'm intrigued by the boombox. Because, my goodness, I haven't seen one of those since I was a kid. I remember the days of people wandering around with those on their shoulders. Didn't happen often, but we did see it, especially down the skate parks. Okay. So she's dancing, and somehow she's managed to make a gigantic jellyfish manifest above the screen, which is dangling its tentacles in and around the screen. I'm not quite sure how she makes me hallucinate, but she must be magic somehow, because, yeah, imagine starting to see all of this just out of nowhere. You just go, what on earth is going on? How am I tripping this hard from aliens? Aliens and bananas. What? All of my whats. Well, it confuses me no end, and I'm impressed at how she can manage it. But yeah, that was amazing. Mostly because I don't want to be a horrible person, as yet I've still not quite decided who I would like my spouse to be, as yet in Stardew. Possibly going to have to look into that and ask, who do you think I should marry? I mean, personally, I'm more favouring Hayley at the moment because she's actually somebody I've never married before in Stardew. Of the female bachelorettes, I think that name might be a little redundant there. Of the bachelorettes, I've married Emily, I've married Abigail, and I think I've married Maru. Now, I'm not sure if I'm an idiot, however, because I saw somebody call her Mary previously, and I'm thinking to myself, is it Mary? Am I a moron? I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that I've been a moron, as obviously described. Now, of course, one of the things I'm grabbing the solar essence for is to make a second obelisk, because I do actually want to be able to teleport around my own farm. That'll make my life super easy. Now, what else do I need to do today? Well, other than going and picking up my upgrade on my trash can, because that's kind of important. Righty. Let's go and see Clint. Come on, good sir. Give me a trash can. So it's nice and bling. Wonderful stuff. There we go. So all of my upgrades now are going to require iridium, and I need 5 of each and a good chunk of cash, which is going to be a bit of a fiddle. Okay, there we go. Clint, have a gold bar. He likes gold. I mean, who doesn't? Gold is pretty. And I didn't actually realise it, but I was told by a friend of Indian descent that I know reasonably well, and he was telling me that actually the amount of gold that is held by Indian housewives, and I thought he was just joking, and I did actually do a little bit of Google foo. Found out he was right. Horrifying. In the sense of, my goodness, I didn't actually realise that was... Culturally, it makes perfect sense, because if you're wearing a lot of gold, fair play. Admittedly, I don't really wear much jewellery, and the jewellery I do wear is either plastic, like a couple of my piercings, or just random titanium metal. I don't really wear a watch or anything like that, and the only watch I have is a gift from my grandmother when I turned 18. You know, just a little thing. And it's the only reason I wear it is because it's important to me, because it was an 18th birthday present. And I'm sure everyone's got something, a little something like that, a little bit of jewellery that they or a little an article of clothing, or an accessory, or something in their wallet, or something that they keep because it has that little connection, which is, you know, kind of sweet, I think. Okay, so in Joja Mart, there is nothing exciting, which I think is perfectly reasonable. Okay, Mr. Joja van driver, you need a lucky break. Can you bring me a rabbit's foot? I'll make it worth your while. I don't have a rabbit's foot, but yeah, fair enough, mate. I will deliver to you a rabbit's foot. You strange, strange man. What I also didn't realise is a lot of the time that rabbit's feet that you can purchase in shops is actually a chicken's foot that's been covered in fluff, which I think is a lot... well, chickens aren't quite as fluffy and cute compared to a bunny, but either way, it's still a bit weird. But yeah. Anyway, now, as we're going to head on through back to the farm, before I start another rambling, bizarre tale of bizarre, which is something I definitely want to do, as I do have a terrible habit of just generally chatting nonsense. It's something that I have found in the past when I'm even at work behind the bar, where I will just say something. I think one of my younger colleagues said to me that she has no idea what I'm ever going to say because it's usually insane. And it's like, how have you done that? What on earth has been going on? And other such general exclamations of what on earth are usually what are said by her, which I find very amusing. Anyway, right, so I've got quite a few bits of miscellanea that I need to deal with. I need to get the sap out so I can quickly turn all those fish into... there it is, quality fertilizer. And of course, as I have mentioned before, because I play with a controller, some of the setup does look a lot more janky. And it is primarily because I like to relax and lean back in my chair, because I'm very lazy. One of the trade-offs, however, is because of the microphone setup I actually have to lean in slightly, as I do want to ensure that the microphone is recording a decent volume, as that is quite important. But less about my janky setup is probably a good thing, as I am in no way, shape or form as professional as some YouTubers, I'm sure. Now, of course, I've got quite a few miscellaneous things that I'm going to just deposit into these boxes and preserve jars. I'm going to turn some more truffles into truffle oil. No, what I'm going to actually do is plonk it on the damn table. That's not what I was actually aiming to do, but the phone rang, which is, again, an oddity. Is ever since I moved out of my parents when I went to university and such, I never, ever had a landline. Didn't see the point. It was one of those, I have a mobile phone and anyone who wants to contact me can use that. Anyone who's calling me via a landline is either going to be trying to scam me or somebody I don't really care about, like the bank. And if they really want to talk to me, they can call me on my mobile. But I think that's kind of an oddity. Like every now and again, I'll see an odd form that I have to fill in and go, oh, can you fill in your home phone number? Well, I don't have a landline. Why do you want me to give you that? I could give you one, but it would be wrong. Perhaps that's just an older forms sort of thing that I'm kind of not really used to, but I do encounter every now and again. Now, considering I have a couple of friends who live out in Germany, one of them did say to me that it's an oddity that how, not really backwards, but how much they enjoy paperwork and how everything has to be done in physical paper form. And I wonder, maybe because they do enjoy a good form, maybe that's a thing for them. But hey, who knows? Anyway, now that I've got my rabbit, I'm quite pleased because that will mean eventually I'll be able to start getting rabbit's feet. I should probably have purchased earlier because I've got to build up the relationship with the rabbit so that it is a high friendship level. But for the time being, I'm going to go and try and get myself some more hardwood, considering I have used a chunk of it to make the first obelisk, and I will need more for the second one. I do need a fair chunk more because I still want to make the horse house. Horse. Yes. The stable. That one. as I don't really enjoy wandering around on foot. If I can be lazy at any point, I would. Although horses are one of the things that I'm never actually ridden a horse. I've always been slightly intimidated by them, and I'm not going to go down the Freudian therapy reason as to that one, because I'm sure anyone who knows anything about Freud, yeah, nothing to do with that as far as I'm aware. It's just because when I was very young, I met a horse. My friend had a farm. Grew up, he had an actual farm. He had a couple of horses, he had a couple of cows. I was really proud of having them. And because I was quite small as a child, which is hilarious because I'm very tall now, because they're so much larger than me, I was intimidated by them and actually scared. I think I was also the same around very big dogs as well, which my cousins had. I only got used to their dog, which was a big German Shepherd, when I was like 4. Because, of course, I was around him a lot, so I kind of got used to it. But I think, having not really experienced the presence of horses and other large livestock, it's something that intimidated me somewhat. Okay, so we've got some basalt and a dwarvish helm. Do I want to hold on to the basalt for now? No, I don't think it's likely that the lava eels are going to end up with another bizarre request, are they? Thankfully not. Anyway, a quick redistribution of my inventory is where it's at right now. Let's have a look. So I don't really need it, but I'm just going to hold on to it for now, just in case. I'm not saying that I'm expecting to need more, but there is a possibility that something stupid will happen. And I might even do another pool requiring some basalt, because I might want to do some more lava eels, because of course they are quite valuable. Well, their roe is, that's the important thing on that one. I'm going to put the cherry and the apricot in here. What else do I want to do? I'm having a think here, mostly because I'm going to reorganize and redistribute a lot of the crops and products around when I can get a chance to build a shed. Because the shed, I find, is quite a useful building. Only because I like to have a shed that is dedicated for preserves and kegs. I think that's reasonable. Maybe? Anyway, random distribution of gubbins, because that's quite important, and making sure that I cook up a little bit of food is probably a good idea. Then I can just put these mushrooms away. I do need to get a quest from Gus, one of the quests, that is, because I would like to build the secondary, he gives you a secondary fridge. I think you can purchase one from him or Robin. I can't remember which way around it is, but I need to do that as well, because I would like to be able to store more food. I also need to do the house upgrade, so I probably should write a list of the important things that need doing, hopefully by the end of the spring. And I think it's going to require a lot of hardwood being the main thing for that, and I don't think that's impossible to do, but it is going to be the important aspect of what I'm going to do here. Now, I want to illuminate the farm a little bit better, partly because it's very dark out and about, and I'm going to illuminate the not just sticking the lamp in the doorway, because as we know, I am an idiot and weirder things have occurred. But I think like a little bit of light like that is probably not a bad thing to have in this greenhouse. Just especially if I do run around during the night. Now, of course, I've got all those trees that are growing in there, and hopefully soon they'll all be ready. Once they're ready, then I can start harvesting them for their very important fruits, and I should probably start planting some more. However, I know I'm saving some space for some of the ones from Ginger Island, which isn't far off. Hopefully. The trouble I have is the one seed that I need to grow, which is the red cabbage, is a summer crop, if memory serves. And that is annoying. Unless somehow I can either obtain a red cabbage individually from the trading cart, or I can obtain a seed packet from her. I have seen it happen. But if I can get one, I'm going to grow it inside the greenhouse, or even in a pot in the kitchen with some speed grow, because I want it done as fast as possible. And of course, I don't really use the speed grow very often unless it's a pressing quest type of thing. I do also need to get some more fibre because I want to make more, what's it called? Tree fertilizer. I'm going to make some now, but I am going to need a bunch of it because, of course, I need more hardwood, which means that I'm going to have to plant a bunch of hardwood trees, like the mahogany tree. And I think that's quite reasonable, as I feel that having more hardwood is definitely a good thing. And we'll just plonk those there. I'm going to probably plant a few hardwood trees near the greenhouse on that left-hand side of it. I think that's probably the nicest place I can plonk them. Whether I can remember or manage to maintain the organisation on that, very different question. Because, as mentioned before, I am an idiot. Okay, so let's head on to bed, observe my fish tank of lovely fish, and have a snooze. Okay, so we made a reasonably, I say reasonable, about 8,000. It's not the end of the world level of money, but it's definitely could be better. Okay, so we've got the blueberries are ready to harvest today from the berries in here, which is nice. I like the fact that my bedroom has plants growing in it. My bedroom at home here does not. As previously mentioned, I personally have a black thumb, which is really annoying, as I would very much rather I was able to grow things properly indoors. Okay, so I've got myself some coconut wine, some starfruit wine, and I'm really glad that I do still have that mod for the graphical enhancements. It just does make them look a bit nicer. You know, I kind of like that. Of course, what I want to do as well is to get a little bit more seedy goodness ready to plant around here. So I'm going to grab some parsnips, which I think I had left over from last year, which is fine and dandy. Going to water these cauliflower blocks here, and I'm going to have a quick look in the cave of mushrooms. And here we go, 6 common mushrooms. Nothing super exciting, but it'll do. It's something. I don't believe that counts towards foraging because, you know, you've grown it yourself-ish. Aha! Finally, the sweet gem berry is ready. I know it takes forever to grow because it takes, I think, an entire season, 28 days to do. However, it's done now, and that's the important thing. Hurrah. Okay. That also, look at all of those star fruits. So this is going to be a vaguely, I say vaguely, could potentially be quite a profitable day if I was to sell all the fruit. Now, I don't tend to sell the individual fruit because I'd rather turn it into wine. But the trouble is I don't have as many kegs as I'd actually like. So there is also that as a desire of actually getting more copper and more iron. But the trouble is I need more coal for that. Or it's a constant string of I need to do this, to allow me to do this, which will allow me this. And I think that's kind of a given, though, for games like this. It's very much a, if I can actually achieve this, I'll actually have a fantastic end result. That's what I'm after. I'm going to plant some more sunflower seeds, just because it gives me something to grow for the time being, as I feel that's very important, to not have any unoccupied plots inside the greenhouse, as this is very valuable space in that it can grow anything at any time of year. Now, let's have a look in here. So we've got a few more crops that need a good watering. That's that one. And this little patch here as well. Lovely stuff. Now, we've got some more row. Excellent. Now, I do know that once you manage to get their happiness level to the maximum, they can start producing multiples of the row, I believe. I say I do know. I'd say, as far as I'm aware, this is the case, sort of thing. Now, I really do hope these trees actually grow, because they're part of my pine tar production, and I need that. I don't need it to live, which was nearly going to be the next thing I said, but I do need it. I am going to have to go back into the forest, because I've got the sweet gemberry. And again, you can see I've got a stack of 44 gold quality starfruit, which is all well and good, It's just, I wish I didn't have that, and I wish it was all wine. Because wine. So I'm going to plonk that in there. I'm going to put the apricot and the cherry. I need the pomegranate for another thing in the, what's it called? Community centre. I believe that's one of the other bundles I need to do. Eels, indeed. Eels are quite good because you can make the spicy eel, which gives you a nice blast of additional luck. And luck is very handy. Hello, Robin. I want to double check something, please. Can I have an idea on how much I need to upgrade one of my buildings, or more to the point, build one? So I want 300 wood. Now, I'm not sure if I have 300 wood. I'm assuming I have near enough, though. Let's have a quick look. No, I do have 300 wood. Fantastic. So I'm going to go and visit Robin. And I'm also going to deposit the stone, because I don't need that. I don't need that coal. Right. On to town we'll go, I'm sure. However, let's have a quick look and grab some more of these snails and other aquatic creatures. I genuinely also did not realise that snails lived underwater for a very long time. Yeah, I genuinely didn't realise that sea snails were a thing. And believe me, I felt very stupid when I actually realised that, as in somebody showed me a tank with a snail on the side of it. Which was my uncle when he had, I've previously mentioned, he had an aquarium. And seeing said aquarium and going, oh, that's a snail, and not really being sure as to why it was there. Who knows? It's one of those oddities, like seeing some of the weird and wonderful wildlife. Like the sea is terrifying, genuinely terrifying, because the weird creatures that live in it are just, how do you exist, you bizarre creature? What on earth is going on? But I think it's one of those things that we apparently know more about the dark side of the moon than we do our own deep seas, which I think is fair. It's probably easier to get to the dark side of the moon than it is to actually go and visit the deepest, darkest depths of the ocean. Because it isn't easy in any way, shape or form. And it's not something I'm ever going to do, thank you very much. I'm not afraid of the sea. I just get very uncomfortable. I don't like being out at deep sea. Freaks me out. So if ever I do a ferry crossing, I have to sit indoors and just go, nope. Okay, so we've now given him the sweet gemberry, which is going to increase our energy fantastically. And it does taste and reminds us of coffee. Hurrah! It's strange, but the taste reminds you of coffee, and the maximum energy level is increased, which is fantastic news, as more energy is always good. Now, I do wonder if in here actually would be a really good place to plant these mahogany seeds. I don't think it would be a terrible idea, really. Whether I'm correct on that is a very different question, but we'll see. Now, let's head on out. We've still got to go and visit Robin, so we've still got time enough for that, which is good. Which is thankful, believe me. Now, let's have a look. So we're getting some more mixed seeds. That's actually kind of useful. Some of the mixed seeds, it's a bit more of a, oh, I'm not really sure. But oh well. Now, one of the reasons that it is very important to fertilize these mahogany seeds, which is something that I'm thinking about predominantly because of the hardwood requirement. Because if you fertilize a tree seed, I think it has like a 90 or 100% chance of growing to the next stage because it's been fertilized. And I can't remember if you can then refertilize it again to guarantee it'll grow to the next stage again. However, mahogany ones, I think only have a 5 to 10, maybe 15% chance of actually progressing if it's unfertilized. And even fertilized, it's only a 50% chance. Thereabouts, 50-60% chance of actually growing, which that's one of the few things that I do remember, but it is incredibly useful and very important because of course you need the mahogany trees for so on and so forth and things and stuff and colouring in. Mostly to allow you to actually grow the hardwood trees, which is great. Now, let's have a look and see what other things we have. Now, so we're going to have this one. And I'm going to buy a couple of things, maybe. I do need some more seeds. Eeny, meeny, miny. Oh, what do I want? What do I want? I probably should buy a bunch of garlic, to be fair. I could also buy some more fertilizer. I'm a terrible shopper, I really am. Unless I know exactly what I'm going in for, I'm very much of a, what am I doing? sort of shopper. But at the same time, I do tend to like to write very important, fully designed lists of, this is what I'm going in to purchase today, thank you very much. You know, stuff and things. But, again, I could be better. Anyway, off to Robin, for she is going to have to build us some stuff. As I have a stack of money and a stack of wood. And I want a shed. Please construct one for me. Now, I know this doesn't take a huge amount of time to build, which is good. And 300 wood is reasonable. Now, where do I want to put it? Now, I want to... Part of me really wants to place it up here. Like where the kegs actually presently are. Or maybe next to the greenhouse. I mean, that would be a bad place to place it. Because there's no way to build a bridge or anything. Which is a shame, actually. Maybe that's something that... If I was able to write code, I would try and do a mod that allows you to build bridges. But the trouble is, I'm sure that would allow you to no-clip out of the map or something stupid. But I'd more so for on your own farm. Not building bridges out to nowhere. Because that would be silly, I think. Anyway. Right, now I need to quickly have a look at this bulletin board here. And... so what else? Yeah. Right, Enchanter's Bundle. So, that's the one. And we have one pomegranate. There we go. So we need one solitary item now. Ooh, gold bars. Which is the Red Cabbage. Which is obviously something I really need, and I think is very important for me to try and obtain. It's just really, really annoying to try to get a hold of. I would very much prefer to get that. Thank you very much. Anyway. Now, let's have a look. One of the oddities that I do need... that I do need to sort of attain is I need to really start heading back into the desert a lot more as well. Which is going to be a faff. As I really need to sort that out. There's so much stuff that I need to organise and deal with regarding the desert generally, as I need to get more iridium. That's really the critical part of this, is I need more iridium bars. So it's going to very much be a run into the Skull Caves. And I think I'm just going to take a bunch of bombs in and hope for the best. I think that's really the most optimal way that I can deal with it. Oh, fiddlesticks and bunkum. I forgot to purchase a bunch of seeds from Pierre. Because that was something I was planning on doing, so I could actually replant more seeds on where they'd been harvested. That's really, really annoying. Drat. Drat, drat, dratty, drat. Oh well. That's my own stupid fault. Right, let's organise this a little bit more. So I've got enough now to build myself the second obelisk. And I am going to build it. I didn't grab enough hardwood. I thought it was only 20. I was incorrect. It's 30. Helps if you learn how to read, from what I've discovered. Right, now I'm going to go and put the obelisk down by the barn area. Not barn. Yeah, the barns. Oh my goodness, my brain is just not functional. And that'll allow me to teleport between the two very quickly, which I think is the most important thing here. If I put it in this corner here, and I can now sort out the animals. And as they're all disappearing back into their appropriate homes, I'm going to teleport back to my house. Bloop. There we go. So that'll make life a lot easier when it comes to visiting the southern part of the farm, which is great. I'm sure there are other sneaky ways of doing that sort of gubbins, which is fine. Now, because I've got the catalogue, I can get any wallpaper and any flooring I want, which is lovely. And I think that's something I'm going to probably use and abuse. I say use and abuse. Use and enjoy. Because there's lots of options for decorating your house, and I don't really do it very often. There we go, that's quite pretty. I like that. And I like this. I really do like the vines. Something about it, I really like the way it looks. It's an oddity. Everyone has their own personal preference. And there's all the seeds that I should have bought. Well done, Walrus, you absolute moron. Sometimes I make so many silly mistakes, it does make me just slam my head against a wall or my desk, and I do feel really intensely stupid. However, let's quickly hoik out those parsnips as well. Don't need them. Right, what have I actually got that I could plant? That's going to be the tough question. Do I have something that I can plant? I hope so. Otherwise, it could end up as untilled soil quickly enough, which would not be good. Now, the spring seeds might be the only thing I've got. Yeah, I think that's actually the case. Oh, blast. Right, well, spring seeds it is. It'll do for now. And hopefully when they grow, they don't take the fertilizer with them. Oh, drat. Oh well, I made some mistakes there. Well, let's just quickly slap them in there. I mean, these are unfertilized bits of soil, so it's not really the end of the world. Oh, look at that, I've got one left. Woo! Oh, dear. Do I bother hoeing a single plot? Yeah, why not? Just sort it out. Get it done. Boom. Right, now the rice will be useful because that will grow pretty soon to its fullest state, which is good. Now, one of the things that I do know that I would very much love to get is mushroom seeds. So the mushroom tree seed is a bit of a weird one. It's like the mushrooms themselves, the mushroom trees are something I didn't realise actually existed for a little while until I randomly found one in my farm. And it was only after a random occurrence in the fall season when a mushroom tree sprouted. I think it replaces one of the previous trees that you've got. I could be very incorrect on that, but they're something that I'd really like to have because they can give you purple mushrooms, which is something that's incredibly useful and very valuable, actually. But whether I'm correct, I'm not sure. I'm not actually sure if there is a seed that you can, what's it called? Obtain from them, other than purchasing them at a later date for key gems. Now, that's another thing that I do really need to deal with, is actually getting myself the... Oh, crikey, what's it called? Oh, what are they called? The rainbow shell, which I believe is only available during the summer. As soon as I can obtain that, that will be grand, because that rainbow shell will allow me to start progressing more so through the key quests, and I think that's really important. But that's, you know, how it goes. Now, I think we're pretty much heading into the last bits of today, as we're just going to organise the preserve jars and ensure that we've got some nice jams and roe on the go, which is good. Got pickled tomatoes. So that's something I've never had, and I've got a Romanian friend who actually mentioned about pickled tomatoes being quite a big thing. Pickled green tomatoes specifically. Never had them, and I really kind of want to try them. Okay, so we've got all of those there, and that's pretty much me ready. Is there anything else I can do? I can hoik out that, because I don't need that. I can put that in the other chest, because I don't think we really use apples for any other cooking recipes, at least. Right, so I'm going to quickly ship these bits off, as I think that's quite a prudent plan. There we go. Whoop. And pretty much get myself double checking everything. I know this is one of those things that I do tend to do. I like to just ensure that stuff is all ready to go. So you need one more to be full. That's good. Ooh, I can choose the appearance. Haha. The trouble is, of course, I can only see it just about in the back of it. Ah, so there's 5 of the super cucumbers. Now, they have a chance, if memory serves, of producing iridium ore. So they might be another one that I need multiple ponds of. Now, the little bit of land that I'm currently stood on above the barns is going to be my tree coppicing area. But maybe I need more water ponds. I'm not sure. We will have to see. However, being that we're just finalising the organisation of the chests here, putting a little bit in there, so that's enough to make a little bit more of the tree fertiliser. Very useful stuff. I don't believe there's anything else I can do now. I think it's going to have to be getting ready for bed. So I will bid you all a fond farewell and adieu. Thank you very much for tuning in. And please do, if you enjoy watching my madness, please do like, subscribe, and share with your friends and family and others that you want to suffer my voice. Good night, and have a good one.